Being dealt a pair in the game of Hold'em is always good. No need to elaborate about the big pairs pre-flop, but even if you are dealt a small pair, you can play and enter the action. If it's not too pricey, you play against 1 to 2 other players, or if you have the best position at the table, you can enter the action with a small pair in order to catch your set, sometimes known as the hidden set, and take advantage of a much better hand. It's even better when you get a pair and flop a full house. Now, you only think what is the right way to play in order to extract the highest possible value from your opponents. The thing is, full house is not the best hand in poker, and when the situation you're about to see happens, it can and probably will hurt. Now, let's get straight to the action and see one of the worst flops for a full house and how it ended. We see Julia raise it to $340 with a medium pocket pair, the pair of nines. But she's in a great position, which is the cutoff, playing smart to raise the pot and play against fewer players, taking advantage of her position with a nice hand. Nick is under the gun, which is not a good position for pocket twos, but he decides to call when I personally would have probably folded this hand, since he has basically the same amount of chips like Julia, not way above her, and can scare her with big bets. But he decides to call and gamble on the flop. Maybe Nick is thinking that Julia doesn't have a very strong hand and that she's just using her position to bluff the table into folding. Action then also calls here, since it's the chip leader and can afford to gamble on this hand, hoping to catch a straight with the 5-7, and because the pot is worth the risk.
And quads for Nick Bertucci. And a boat for Julia. What a flop.
And then comes the worst flop for a full house, as Julia makes the full house, but Nick, who in my opinion should have folded the hand, makes quads, and now we're about to see some fireworks. Both players decide to check, since at this point no one would buy a bet, hoping the other will catch a good card on the turn and then bet.
Julia, what a flop. And it checks through. And the last 9 is dead, so Nick with a check mark here. Julia thinks this is an amazing spot.
Nick bets $400 and Julia only calls.
She is in deep,
I would have raised
trouble
here, but I guess she doesn't want to scare Nick away from the pot and extract the most on the river. The river doesn't change a thing, maybe it gives a possible flush, which is good to both players, since Nick won this hand and Julia thinks it's her hand to win with the full boat.
Neither player concerned about this 6 at all.
Nick bets $2,200.
Here comes a raise.
Julia has no reason to believe she is the underdog here. She needs to raise, which she does.
Cooler.
Betting $7,000, hoping for a call or even a re-raise. That's indeed a cool cooler for Julia and a great hand,
7,000
like a full
and
house.
Nick's gonna jam. 7,000 and Nick's gonna jam.
Give this man an Oscar. What great Hollywooding we see here by Nick.
Doesn't have a ton behind after the 7,000, so she's probably not folding.
Everything.
There it goes. Wow, Julia's going to think about this.
Oh, I call.
There's the call. And Nick wins a $24,000 pot, a ridiculous cooler.
After the acting is done, Nick shoves all in, and Julia is actually thinking here for a second, but now invested so much in the pot with a great hand. It's an impossible laydown, even for the top pros. She calls just like any other human would in this position, maybe except Phil Ivey, and sees the devastating cooler and our full house just lost to quads, a loss that was already determined on the flop. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe, and keep following our videos to support our channel. We truly appreciate it. Don't forget to visit our site to claim your bonuses and take advantage of our promotions. Have a great and winning day, and I'll see you in the next video.